Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC podcast, brought to you by REC Comics and Collectibles. I'm your host, Roman Chavez, and with me, as always,
Erik and Roman,
the original Don Juan, the Don Juan de la Nuche, all right?
the Prince of the Rodeo.
The Prince of the Rodeo. Yeah, that's old school. That's for you, Carter. You know who you are. If you want to, you can follow us on Instagram at REC Podcast. You can follow myself at Roman REC Podcast. You can follow the shop at REC Comics. You can come visit us at 7679 North Union Boulevard in Colorado Springs. And you can follow this guy.
That's under construction right now.
Okay.
I'm going to find... It's too hard to... When I tell people the name of it, it does...
Okay,
How do you spell that? So
Never
maybe
mind.
the next one, don't worry about it.
It's coming, kids. It's coming.
It's under
all
construction.
right?
There are some funny videos on it.
We are coming at you a few days later from the last episode, which covered Obi-Wan episodes 1 through 4 that Erik loves. And in today's episode, we're going to really highlight Disney Plus's Miss Marvel. As of this recording, the first 2 episodes are out, but I've only watched the first one, so we're just going to talk about that a bit.
Break down 1.
We're going to break down 1 with some things, and me being completely unabashed and unadulterated by episode 2. But hopefully you guys have made the time to watch episode 1. I literally just finished watching it this morning.
So we will be talking spoilers.
We will be, okay?
We're going to get into this.
I will say, Erik, I'm going to let you start off, right?
What's that?
I'm going to let you start off.
Okay.
What did you think of the show? Where are you at with it? What do we do? Who do we know?
Let me jump into this and say, I know it's not geared towards our demographic,
Sure.
age-wise. But I will say that it is geared towards a comic book fan. And that is where I'm most kind of digging the show, is that it's sort of taking the fan person and imbuing them with a superpower. Like, we would all love to be Miss Marvel.
Yes.
Be a fan of the superhero and then become one.
Yes.
But I will say I am a little disappointed in some of the forced woke nonsense in there.
Fair enough.
And I think some of the unoriginal, high school, but again, I know it's not geared towards us.
Yeah.
But sort of the same kind of going through high school tropes. Best friend kind of, the Ducky situation with Bruno.
Yeah.
We'd been there, done that,
the popular girl
Yeah.
in school.
And I will say, on a positive note, I am glad they did fix her powers. Because I like this iteration of her.
Okay.
Because if you don't know, kids, the Miss Marvel from the comic books is just a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
She's exposed to the Terrigen Mist after the Infinity storyline.
The Terrigen bomb or the
they
human
said,
bomb or something?
Black Bolt sets off the bomb, Atalan or Atilian?
Atalan.
Yeah, that's where the Inhumans live. And it blows up and sets off this Terrigen Mist. So anybody who was capable of being an Inhuman becomes an Inhuman.
Yeah.
So that's where she gains her powers.
Yes.
And she's just she gets stretchy. Not Mr. Fantastic stretchy, but...
Yeah,
become dense.
Somewhat within reason. Like Reed's powers, he can go a little bit farther. He can do some. Hers seem like just kind of diet, stretchy powers. But in this show,
yes,
she gets it from a bracelet. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
I want to because I have a theory about it that I think you might like.
Okay.
Who would you recommend this show to?
Okay. I love to recommend it to, people who are teenagers.
Yeah.
I think I would love to say that anybody could enjoy this show. And maybe that's who they should have marketed it towards. Was like, okay, we've all been a teenager in high school. We've all felt insecure. We've all wanted to be the heroes we read about. Mm-hmm. And I feel like maybe they have time to do it. Mm-hmm. But I'm not getting this. I don't like this kind of sanctimonious confidence that a lot of the female heroes in these shows already have. Uh-huh. It's like, I get that they're trying to empower women in these shows, and it's amazing. I love it. But from a story perspective, they all shouldn't be uber confident. Like when she's talking to the guidance counselor, how he's being condescending to her. Uh-huh. She should have kind of, we all been in that situation where we've been talked down to by an adult. Mm-hmm. And she should have, it would have been more practical and realistic if she was just like, yeah, you're right. And,
then talked about it later, talk crap with her friend.
Exactly. Because that's how we do it.
Yeah, that's at least in our age group, definitely. Yeah.
And then, and then they could have built the story of her gaining confidence because we've all been an insecure teenager at one time. Yeah. And, I always think, comic books, especially now, are such a great outlet for teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe not the books and then the actual shows. People have their favorite superheroes now. I mean, there was a time when we were kids, it was a social suicide to like this stuff.
Very much so.
You know, and I love the fact that it's become, you know, a little bit more in the pop culture zeitgeist. Like it's more, it's okay to like this stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And it gets you through the day.
Yeah,
you know, relating to a hero. And I love the aspect of her loving Carol Danvers, that her being her favorite superhero.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about this show, though, is to me is that they're not fables. They're not you know myths or a story. These are real people.
I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's like having a favorite athlete be your hero.
Yeah.
You know,
like it wasn't something. We're getting to see this perspective as it's playing in their world.
Right.
So you have a virtual nobody idolizing, like you said, these all of the heroes. Like seems to like all of the Avengers and all of that. And I thought it was really sweet that at Avengers Con, which was cool,
that was
a cool addition.
I like that.
At Avengers Con, you saw a tribute to both Black Widow and Iron Man. You know, like for their sacrifice.
Fun fact: apparently, the writer of the show, oh my god, I forgot her name. She had to fight to get that Natasha tribute.
That's crazy to me.
Like I'm like, that is why did she have to fight for that? She sacrificed herself.
She did, but I wonder. Like, I would like to see something on Disney Plus where we see, like, how does the rest of the world know what happened?
Well, I have a theory through Scott Lang's podcast.
Okay, and
that's how people are finding this.
Which I like. That was a very cool thing, and I have that. They made some cool things that really made this world seem more tangible.
Right, good world building.
Good world building.
I will give it credit.
Kamala and her friend Bruno, you said?
Yeah, Bruno.
That they talk about that Scott Lang has a podcast. It's called Big Me, Little Me. Yeah. Which
I would just love to listen to him do one in character.
I think, I think that it's something that Paul Rudd would do.
He would totally.
And I would sign me up.
Yeah, me too.
I
would pay for that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Please don't charge us. You know, there was a lot of cool things to your point about like when we were in high school.
Yeah.
Like I basically quit collecting comic books. I was like a closeted comic book collector. I would pick up something here and there, even though Eric's dad was still into it. Like the 4 years of high school really didn't read that many comics. And when I got out of high school and I was making better money and I was like, you know what? I'm spending money on what I want. I got back into it with Marvel Universe The End. Fantastic storyline leading into Hush for DC, which got me back into DC Comics. And it's really cool to see. Like, I can relate to this because, like, I was Kamala on the inside.
Yeah, sure.
I was her room was how my innards looked.
There you
just
go.
Totally decked out. Because I remember one time when AJ came back from college, friend of the show, the tent pole. Yeah, he was talking to some other high school friends of ours, and we had been out for a few years, and I had like a comic book room in our townhouse, and AJ, he's like, it wasn't always like this, was it? Like, because even my closest friend didn't like. He knew I love comics, but like. It like really, that. I really blew up nerd-wise.
Well, the best line of the night was, is that Batman's butler? He had an out one. I think it was from the Hush line.
Yeah, it's from the Hush series. He was looking at the toys, and it felt just like in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Is that the $60 million man's boss?
Butler? Yeah, he's like, yeah, it's
Oscar Goldman.
He's worth more. He's rarer. And I literally did that, and it wasn't true, but I was like, that's Alfred Pennyworth. He's rarer. Yeah. He was not, but I had to do that whole thing, and it was just so funny. And so for me, I'm really connecting with Kamala, like you said, in her fan sense.
Sure. Which that's the part I loved.
Yes, yeah, you really hit the nail on the head. The show reminds me of it's strong Sky High vibes, like a bit more mature, a bit more taken seriously. Right. Sky High and faithful listeners of the show, you guys know I love Sky High. It's one of I think we did a show on like great comic book movies that weren't Marvel DC, and that was one of the ones that was on my list.
Mine was A History of Violence.
Yes, and I loved Sky High. It's a fantastic story. If you have kids, it's a great superhero story where the children of superheroes go to a school basically called Sky High, and wackiness ensues.
Good show. Good
movie. A lot of Kids in the Hall people, too.
Oh, yeah. Bruce McCullough, Kevin McDonald, I think Mark McKinney's in there, Dave Foley might be.
Dave Foley's in there, yeah. Dave Foley teaches in this school, they have I know we're totally going off.
It's fine.
But in the school, they have if your powers aren't legit, you're a sidekick. And dude, Bruce Campbell's in there too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's great. But
It's good.
so there's like a sidekick class, and what's his name? Dave Foley. Taught the sidekick class, and dude, it was so funny. It was all about like changing really quick and like not taking focus away from the hero, and it's such a well done show. And this really had that and Scott Pilgrim vibes, which Eric's not the biggest Scott Pilgrim guy. I don't know why you hate awesome things, but yeah. So for me, it was really pulling from that, and I really didn't think I was connect with this character at all, and even more so than the comics, I connected with her as a fangirl.
Okay,
so
that part I do love. I will say that's the part I loved about it.
Yeah,
could have used more of it, and I will say the most unrealistic thing about it is that she has a YouTube channel with this amazing animation. She has 2 subs.
Yeah,
this woman would have.
Yeah,
millions would be huge.
Yeah, she should be more popular.
Yeah, I was like,
that
that's
realm.
so unrealistic.
And the whole premise of that first episode is her trying to get her parents to let her go to Avengers Con.
Right.
And she wants to cosplay as Captain Marvel and, try to win a Captain Marvel cosplay competition. And her parents kind of and I think they're from Pakistan.
Yes.
Okay.
They're Pakistani.
So they're very supportive. The mother's a little bit more judgmental. The dad seems like
they gotta remember the scene when he dresses up like the Hulk at the beginning.
Great. Yeah,
that's
great.
the stuff I'm love.
We're again. Even though we can't get into it as much as maybe I could in Spider-Man, like I'm really, as a father, as a fan, it's really striking those chords.
Well, this is what I loved about it was, people were, you had people who were kind of up in arms about the religious part of the show, her being a Muslim and from Pakistan, and I love the scene of the father dressing up like the Hulk because it just normalized. It didn't matter who they were because that's what any good father would do that.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what your background. See, that's the parts I was wanting more of.
Yeah.
But then I feel like we were getting more and more of let's kind of push a little bit more of the religious aspect. And I get, we need representation.
Yes.
Love it, give me more. But it's how you do it.
Dude, I'm on the opposite side, dude. I thought I was very immersed in the culture. I liked seeing her home life so much. I liked seeing the dinner kind of set up, the stuff with the brother.
The prayer at the beginning, it was great.
Dulu. It didn't feel for me. It really isn't feling too preachy. But I mean, I went into it thinking that I was going to get a lot of those things.
Right.
But it's not for me. It hasn't been distracting. Okay. I love her and her buddy. It's a little too tropey for me.
About Bruno.
So it's a little tropey, but I'm digging it so far. I like that he's kind of this techie guy.
Sure.
Still the guy in the chair.
Ted.
Yeah, he's the guy in the chair. And
is that Spider-Man's homie?
No, Ned.
Yeah,
he's Ned.
Sorry, Ned.
Yeah. Ned leads. And I'm excited to see where they're going to go. Now, we kind of have MacGuffined this bracelet thing a bit, which I didn't care for.
You didn't watch episode 2, so go ahead.
Okay, I have not watched episode 2. So, from my knowledge, this amulet or this bracelet shows up in her grandma's old stuff, and then she's looking for something a little Pakistani to add flair to her costume,
right, which is awesome.
Yes,
that part's cool.
And at the con, there's a great part where we see kind of like the popular girl who was kind of making fun of Kamala liking superheroes. She's there cosplaying as a kind of a slightly like sexier, Miss Marvel. And remember, these are these teenagers. I'm not saying, but she's kind of going for
She's going the mean girl look. With the
mean girl look with the Santa. Thank you so much. But did you notice who she looked like?
Who?
She actually, and Kamala says that it's not accurate, but she actually looks like this. Do you remember the second Miss Marvel, the one who later becomes She-Thing? She looked like that one.
The one Rogue fights, right?
No. That's still Carol.
That's still Carol.
So that's Carol in her second costume. But there's a second Captain or a second Miss Marvel. She had red hair. She had a riff. It was in the Fantastic Four stuff.
That's right. Okay,
and then she later becomes the She-Thing as well.
That's right. Okay.
So her costume actually was comic book accurate to another to a Miss Marvel, not to a
Right.
Captain Marvel. So that was the one big thing
That
that
was
I
kind of
caught.
cool. I
that
don't think
thought was-
anybody caught that.
Yeah, her name is Sharon Ventura in the comics, and
Damn, that's deep cuts.
It was very deep cuts.
Damn, I don't think any of the other sites picked up on that, homie. Good catch.
I think that's what it is. That's what it reminded me of. I haven't heard anybody else
that's
talking
what
about it
reminded
either.
you. Then, dude, that's
So-
because now I'm like looking back on it, I'm like, dude, you're right.
Yeah.
Because that's all I'm seeing right now.
Yeah,
Good call, man.
There
Good
was
call,
a
dude.
second Miss Marvel, and in her Miss Marvel state, she just had more endurance and more strength. And then I don't know what happens to her that she becomes basically a female version of the Thing later as well.
She got shafted.
She did get shafted because that character could have been
Could
interesting.
have been cool. It could
I
have been
have
cool.
an action figure of her.
Do you really?
Yeah, they did. Remember the She-Force line? They do a Miss Marvel. They do a
God.
Carol Danvers and they do a Sharon Ventura. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
Wow.
So the more you know,
look at
kids.
that. Look at
the
that.
more you know.
I do like the driving test.
Driving test scene was good.
Throws on the aviators.
Yep.
Just like her homie or idol Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
I love to say that's why I wear these, but it's for Knoxville.
Yeah, Knoxville, baby.
Knoxville's my Carol Danvers.
When we had seen the trailers, I think the consensus online was that, oh, they're going to do the quantum bands.
Yes.
Or they're going to do the nega bands or what have you.
Yeah, from Quasar.
Quasar, Silver Surfer had him for a while, Marvel Boy, etc., etc. But it's only one. It's one bracelet. So again, this is not. I want to see. Is it something that you were familiar with in episode 2?
No.
No. Okay. Cool. So already it has been nothing. So I don't know of a single band of power. So I'm not familiar with this from the comics at all because as we talked about in the comics, she gets her powers from the Terrigen Mist. I wonder. This is my theory. I wonder if there's Terrigen crystal in the bracelet. Okay, I'm not gonna. We'll talk off camera if I'm right on that. So my theory is that it is that there may be something Terrigen in. It may be inhuman in origin. I'm very curious now.
Don't look at me.
I'm trying not to. So again, I haven't seen episode 2, but I wondered that because they basically made her powers Green Lantern powers.
Yeah, that's what I say. Marvel couldn't even let DC have it.
Dude, they're
like, you know what? Because like I said, her construct powers aren't her powers in the comic books.
No.
They were like, you know what? F you, DC. You beat us to the ocean.
Yeah,
We're taking everything.
Yeah. I'm not coming back for just the ocean.
You better lawyer up. So.
I'm coming back for the whole thing. And so I'm curious. They kind of her thing. You see it a lot in the comics is her really stretching out her hands, her being long and gangly. So here she's just extending through construct. And if you're not as familiar with the Green Lanterns outside of the Ryan Reynolds movie, they actually got the powers down pretty legit in the Ryan Reynolds movie. And yeah, that's what he does. He projects
he uses willpower to make constructs. Well, and I do like the fact that it plays into her being an artist, creativity. So you would have to be a very creative person to wield that kind of power, to have the imagination to make constructs.
Yeah.
I like that little callback to her being an artist, so it makes sense to the story. I do like that part of it.
And it kind of takes away from Kyle Rayner a bit too, Green Lantern artist.
He's the artist of the bunch. It does, we get to Avengers Con.
Yeah, Avengers Con, which was
he has to
cool.
save said mean girl. And very much in the Carrie fashion, like she's up on stage.
Yeah.
But she falls, catches her with the big hand. So there was a shout out to the big hand. So as a whole, it's funny. I come in wanting to spit venom at these things because I'm worked up, but then I want to talk about it. I'm like, it really wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I could kind of dial back the wokeness just a scotch.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it was pretty good now that I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay, all right.
And it's not even like getting the other perspective.
Right.
I agree with some of your negatives outside of the woke stuff because I didn't find it to be overbearing.
Okay.
I want to watch it again because I want to watch it with my daughter. I want to watch it. I want to watch it with my oldest. I think she might dig it.
I think she dig it.
I think that it's hitting on some different notes, and I can speak from experience here in the shop that I have, and it warms my heart. I love when the parents and the kids are doing the stuff together, but I have a few regulars that are fathers and daughters. I've got a couple box customers that they're a father my age or a little older and their teenage daughter, and they're getting comics together.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So like I am for it, and I'm going to tell them if they're not watching it, they got to check out this.
Oh yeah, because it's going to hit them right in the feels.
Yeah, it's doing a lot. I'm not as familiar. Like I don't know much about her brother, so I don't know if they're going to expound on that more. If he's going to be, the
quasi bad guy, which would be amazing.
Or her Uncle Ben, does he get killed at some point? Does he become the bad? I don't know. Because in my mind, if there's one, there's got to be two. So I'm already leaning that way that there would be another bracelet that somebody else. And it sucks that we're so close to Shang-Chi as well. With
he's like, hey, quit stealing my moves.
I know, man, because they just did it in comics. Like it just happened in comics. Like last month, Shang-Chi got the rings.
Oh.
Yeah. So like they've worked that 10 rings stuff into the story.
Okay.
Into
so he took
continuity.
it from Mandarin?
I don't know, but he got bracelets.
The bands.
So
okay.
he got those. He didn't get these. He didn't get the digits. He got the arm wear, But it's just weird to have two bracelet things going on right now, and but both could be very cool in their own rights. Yeah. Did you see the thing where she she gets cast as Kamala Khan? I think her name is Eamon something or other. I don't know. I apologize. It's IMAN, and she reached out to Tom Holland. And she was like, hey, how's Spider-Man going? I'm so excited. And he sent her a picture of Tobey Maguire. So he spoiled it for her.
Tom Holland cannot help
himself. He's the
worst.
And what really has me on Eamon is the fact that she does see. There's a picture of her at 15 years old in real life in a Miss Marvel
That's
costume.
right. Yeah. So that's kind of oddly cool.
Yeah.
Like she's a fan of the material before she became part of it.
And she's been going on record, Eric, saying Kevin Feige can say it all he wants. The MCU is 1999. It is not 616. That's the comics. She's been doing that a lot.
I give her mad respect for that.
So guys, I'm already here for it. Father-daughter stuff.
Fan service in the best way.
Yes. Did you like episode 2? That's all I'll ask.
I did. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. As much as I like the first one, you know what I mean? It's fine.
It has promise?
It has promise.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, man, dude, it's all can't be WandaVision. It all can't be Loki, in its best parts. It all, like there's going to be some lulls, but you got to think about it with America Chavez, with Kamala Khan. We're very young on these characters.
Sure.
Even in continuity. So they're going a different route, and hopefully they can connect to us like they have with the nerdy stuff with Kamala Khan and bring us along for the ride so that when we see her and Captain Marvel interact, you see, but what sucks is that you don't like Captain Marvel either.
I don't.
So they're really like, this is all uphill for you.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
I did like Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I watched it again recently. I was like, man, that's a good movie.
Dude, and I think Disney Plus is going to have Multiverse of Madness this month. June 22nd, I think, is when it's coming out. So I can't wait to watch it again because I only watched it the first time, and I know there's tons of stuff I missed. Like, oh, bro, somebody put a GIF out of, in the, when spoilers for Multiverse of Madness, when Xavier gets it.
Yeah.
Dude, she doesn't break his neck. She rips his head in half.
Oh, Jesus.
She rips it like this. Somebody slowed it down. Dude, it's terrifying. Dude, it's so quick, like you can't tell. But when you frame by frame, she rips it at the jaw. Oh. That's how she gets him in the movie.
They're taking it far. I love it.
That's a Marvel movie, kids.
I freaking love it.
And I love because if we're going to take the Marvel movies to that extent, we can't bring our kids as much.
Sure.
And depending on what your personal beliefs are and anything like that, like I don't want my oldest to see Xavier get his neck snapped. I don't, and to see his jawbone ripped off.
That was a little intense.
I seen you rip someone's jawbone off, and so being able to mom and dad can go watch Multiverse of Madness, and then we can watch Miss Marvel with the kids. Like, I like having those ends of the spectrum.
Sure.
You know, I have the customers who they only read the dark stuff. They only read Punisher when he's killing, So they're not getting the full, you know, pardon the pun, rainbow of the Marvel Universe. And that's fine. That's your journey. But I like to have the option.
Sure.
And, you know, when you can watch on Disney Plus in 1 month Moon Knight, and then in the following month Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
You know,
I already like Miss Marvel more than Moon Knight.
That's saying something,
God.
kids.
Oh.
And I liked Moon Knight. So did Carter. We talked today.
Yeah.
Shout out to Carter.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, and they picked up one of the Groots, one of the plush Groots. So
all right.
yeah, it's I think we need the spectrum because
Sure.
and there is a thought process too in somewhat, you know, how Apple products have like a built-in obsolescence. Like,
It's true.
Eternals might have been a calculated mistake to soften us to really, like, maybe we don't enjoy No Way Home as much
With Eternals being so good.
if Eternals kills it, you know?
Right.
Like, I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I think that there is that there's an argument to be made that, I mean, if we're always getting 10s,
Right.
then nothing are 10s.
Yeah, the expectation is gone.
Yes.
At that point, because you're only experiencing great stuff.
Yes.
So that makes sense.
We need quality cool down. And I think Miss Marvel in episode 1 is quality cool down, where it's like, okay, we can't have Doctor Strange reanimating a corpse of himself to fight the Scarlet Witch, but you know, we've got some interesting story building happening.
Sure.
And you know, if they, you know, it's just got to be better than Falcon Winter Soldier, and it already is.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Like,
and that's a bummer, because that one could have been the best.
yes.
It could have been the best of the bunch.
But again, cool moments. You know,
Great
we
moments.
love Baron Zemo. I was happy to see Sharon Carter back, even though I think they're really going to back out of making her
They're
this
going to. Which I
Madripoor kingpin.
I wish they would have just... Please go full tilt with that. Make her the villain. Turn her so she can have a redemption arc.
I'm down with that.
Give
too.
me that.
And you know what? And just like, hey, when the world blipped, like
I lost it.
I was a double triple agent and I had nobody. So like it makes sense. That's the
makes
thing.
a lot of sense.
And like in the there's been some fan stuff going on that like that Matt Murdock was blipped out of existence,
right? Which
is why the Kingpin was able to start to get power again.
Right. That makes total sense.
Dude, like it's writing itself, and it's nice to have. You know, it's all ice cream, guys, right?
Right.
Let's have some different flavors, and I think
I
it's
love
just
ice cream.
I do. You do. I learned that, and I'm excited to. On our road trip to Comic-Con, I'm gonna go full ice cream with you.
Yeah,
bro.
let's do it, baby.
I'm gonna put on weight, and I'm gonna get ice cream as much as you. This guy puts away the ice cream. I thought he was just manufacturing them at one point because he was getting ice cream. I was like, dude, this place didn't even have a freezer. What are you doing?
At that gas station.
Yeah, every weird podunk gas station we stopped at, Eric was finding ice cream, and it was me. I was getting rather jealous. Don't get me wrong. I got my corn nuts. I got my beef sticks. But ice cream is a pro move
so
on the road.
Good, man.
It's a pro move on the road.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, you know, especially when we're driving through those hot states.
Oh yeah. Cools you down. Give you a little sweet. Gives you a little perk.
That's right, kids. That is our show. As much as I love to digress with you guys, we'll let you get back to it. If you like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. Click the little bell to know. Yeah, give the little bell tickle so that we know when a new episode is dropped.
Yeah. Give us some comments.
Give us some comments.
Even if it's just say hello. Just say hello.
Yeah, what's up? You know, shout out to a friend of the show, Scott, who enjoys the show, and Christopher. We appreciate the feedback on the shows. Keep it up. Eric, do you have any final thoughts for us today?
You know what? I think I really went into this not wanting, I wanted to like it, but I think just talking about it, getting different perspectives, makes you see things, makes you see the full picture.
I'm not trying to talk you into liking things.
Oh, no, of course not. But just
like...
getting your perspective made me see, it was kind of, So, you know, if you're feeling kind of, cantankerous about something, talk to someone who has a different viewpoint. It might open up the brain a little bit. Now I don't hate it as much. I'm like, you know what? That was pretty damn good.
Our cynical, sweet Eric. We need to have you here, and I appreciate you having a different take.
Sure.
You know, I'm already bought and sold for the most part. But if I don't like something, I'll let you know. Again, I understand why nobody likes Eternals. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. Kids, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Roman Chavez.
I'm so Eric Icarus, Jim Shooter.
We'll catch you on the next podcast.